What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to talk about GM of our Atlanta Falcons, Terry Fontenot. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content or NFL content. If you'd like to follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram, you can follow me at Jew Talk Sports. And if you'd like to be a part of my Jew Talk Sports membership, you can hit that join tab here on the channel as well. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So as I mentioned in today's video, I do want to talk about Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, and does the Falcons have to have a winning season for Terry Fontenot to keep his job after this season? Personally, I do believe that this is a must-win season for our Atlanta Falcons and GM Terry Fontenot. He has been our GM the last 4 seasons, and the Falcons haven't made the playoffs since he's been our GM. And personally, I really feel like if the Falcons miss the playoffs again in 2025, I believe that Terry Fontenot will lose his job, unfortunately. Now, I'm not one of those people that root against coaches or GMs. I know that this is their livelihood and things of that nature as far as this being their job. But the NFL is a production or results-based business. And being that the Falcons haven't won over the last 4 years under Terry Fontenot's tenure, I really feel like that looks bad on his behalf. And I really feel like this is a must-win for both him and Coach Raheem Morris. But Terry Fontenot, to me, is a solid GM. He's done a good job of getting the Falcons out of cap hell. As you guys know, when he took over as the GM after Thomas Dimitroff, the Atlanta Falcons were in cap hell. We didn't have a whole lot of money. So in 2020, when he actually took over, the Falcons weren't able to really go out and make any big name splashes. They eventually had to eat a huge salary cap when we released Matt Ryan or traded him to the Colts. So we went through a couple years where we didn't have a whole lot of money, and Terry Fontenot was right there. He was able to kind of rectify things as far as the cap goes. But the Falcons haven't been able to win. And I'll say after the first 2 seasons, Terry Fontenot kind of got a pass because of the cap situation. But over the last 2 seasons since he's been the GM, I really feel like the Falcons had opportunities under both Arthur Smith, his last season with the Atlanta Falcons, and under Raheem Morris in his first year. The Falcons had good enough rosters where they should have at least had a playoff berth. So being that the Falcons haven't had that playoff berth under GM Terry Fontenot, I really it looks like he could be on the chopping block if the Falcons somehow, some way don't make the playoffs this year. They have another losing season. And personally, over the last couple years, the Falcons over the last 7 years have been stuck in mediocrity. We haven't been the worst team in the league. We've been like right there in the middle of the pack, being 7-10. When we had Arthur Smith every single year he was here, we were 7-10, 7-10. And then under Raheem Morris, you improved by 1 game, going 8-9 last season, which really wasn't a huge improvement, with the roster that we had. But I know that it takes time when you bring in a new coaching staff and things of that nature for those guys to bring in the players that they want, for those guys to be able to come in and develop players and things of that nature, implement their new scheme. But I really feel like this season coming up in 2025, this is going to be a huge draft. It's going to be a huge free agency for this Atlanta Falcons team, and a huge year, I believe, for GM Terry Fontenot. The Falcons have to win this season. This is like a must win. They have to come away with a winning season. If we are below 500 again for his 5th straight season, I don't see Terry Fontenot surviving another losing season. So if I'm Terry Fontenot, I'm doing everything in my power, whether it's making trades, whether it's bringing in the right players in the draft. This is a huge season for him because I really feel like this is going to be his last chance to get it right. Arthur Blank, as the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, is very patient. He's been patient, and usually he gives coaches and things of that nature at least 3 to 4 years to try to rectify, whatever the situation is. But in this situation, I really feel like Terry Fontenot, he's going to be the next guy on the chopping block if the Falcons continue to lose in ways. Now, I really feel like one of the big reasons why Terry Fontenot is going to be on the hot seat is the Falcons haven't been able to sell tickets, because we have these season ticket holders, and a lot of these season ticket holders are selling their tickets. The Falcons are not selling out, being that we had that skid last year where we started off hot and everybody were going to the games. The Falcons were winning. We were 6-3. And then you had that huge slide where the Falcons lost like 4 or 5 straight games. The fans stopped going out to the game. They started selling their tickets to the opposing team that was coming into Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That doesn't bode well as far as the business side of it. And that's where I really feel like Terry Fontenot could end up in hot water. Not only the losing, but not keeping the fans intrigued and fans not wanting to come out and support the team. That's one of the huge things when Arthur Blank had the new stadium built, was to have a winning culture and to be able to sell tickets, especially to the season ticket holders. So I really feel like it's bigger than football, just football. It goes also to the marketing side of it. It goes to the business side of it, of being able to sell out tickets and things of that nature, to sell merchandise and things of that nature as well. But the paramount thing is winning. When you win, fans will come. When you win, everything seems to flourish around winning. So at the end of the day, if I'm Terry Fontenot, I'm focusing on this draft. I'm focusing on this free agency period, making sure that we have the right people in the building to get the job done. I really feel like the Falcons do have what it takes with this coaching staff, with the roster that we had last year. If we're able to add some pieces, we lost some pieces this offseason, but if they're able to add the right pieces in the draft, add the right pieces in free agency, it's no excuse why this Atlanta Falcons team cannot be a playoff team. The NFC South hasn't been a really good division over the last couple years. We've been knocking on the door, even when we had Arthur Smith. Every single season, when it came to the month of December, the Falcons were in playoff contention, and we just fell short. So with that being said, I really feel like Terry Fontenot, Raheem Morris, these guys are going to have to get the job done. You guys tell me if it's fair or if it's foul. Personally, I would love to see Terry Fontenot here. I do believe that he knows how to evaluate talent. In some instances, he's done a pretty solid job in the drafts, but in building this Atlanta Falcons roster, but he has failed short as far as the winning side of it, and that's the most important thing. So as much as I like him as a person, as much as I think that he can get the job done, he has to go out there and prove it to the fans, prove it to Arthur Blank in the front office. So with that being said, I have a lot more content coming for you guys. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up, be blessed. Peace.